Alrighty, facing AGM Asia Titus once more. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, our last game was the Nimzo, where I think I was winning and blew it in the end game. Oh no, maybe I'm misremembering. In any case, we get a Sicilian. I got black this time. Kalashnikov on the board. We got 41 spectators. Seem to be featured on Lichess TV again. Alrighty. So let's hope this is a good game. My opponent's deliberating what line he wants to play, so he goes into the main line, as expected. And now, what does he want? Does he want a Maraxi? Does he want some standard Kalashnikov fare? Bishop c4. Let's see. Bishop c4. Okay. So this is a bit early, or earlier than it's normally played anyway. So do I need to be worried about any tricks here? No, I don't think so. He's just honing in on the d5 square. So knight f6, bishop g5 seems normal. Okay. Alternatively, I can start with bishop e7. It's fine. Okay. Waiting for knight c3 to be played before I kick the knight with a6, so it doesn't have a convenient route back into the center. Okay, so queen h5. Maybe knight f6 was indicated there to control that square, but I'm not terribly concerned about this. I can consider d5 and knight f6, but maybe just g6 is fine too. I don't see why not. Let's do it. Okay, and knight f6 now. So knight f6, bishop g5, castles, takes. Yeah, should be in time for that. Okay. So bishop h6. Maybe I'm getting myself in some trouble here. I wonder if I can play bishop e6, takes, bishop g7. I move, takes, knight check takes, queen takes. So if I play this here, bishop g7, I can take, right? Because takes the rook, I take the bishop. So maybe I should be starting with this. Just to alleviate some of the... I wonder if I should throw in bishop g4 at some point, actually. Let's go ahead and do this. Expecting knight c3. And then maybe I do insert bishop g4, just to include one more development move and also free up the knight from blocking the f-file. Could also play knight d4 here and make the queen come back to defend c2, which I do rather like the look of that. Make sure I'm not blundering anything. I wonder if I should be playing this or the bishop how, which one's better. Really not sure. Here does force the queen back to d1 or d3. Maybe yeah. Let's start with this one, and that way I can play bishop e6 next. And take back with the knight if I want to. Could also play knight g4, hitting the bishop. Bishop's going to hop into g7 in any case, I imagine. But maybe this makes some sense. Bishop e6, because if bishop g7, I take and take on c2, maybe. And if takes on e6, I can take back with a knight and guard g7, so that when I play knight g4, the bishop cannot hop into g7. So now his idea is if takes, knight takes. Let's play rook c8 rather quickly, renewing the threat. Takes, and rook takes c4. Maybe he can just castle here. Yeah, I wonder if I can takes. It's a little bit speculative. So how about just this? This seems reasonable. Here, it takes on e6. I can consider just taking on h6. Bishop g7 gets that bishop caught, I believe. I'd like to be able to do this, but I think I shouldn't play speculative sacrifices until I get castled and coordinate the rest of my forces. Down a significant amount of time on the clock here. So bishop e3, I think, seems like the natural or the only move. And I can consider then whether I want to take the bishops off or take that bishop off. Yeah. So takes, you can't take with the queen. Takes, pawn takes. Move the knight. I wonder, takes, pawn takes, takes c2, takes, takes. That's not enough. So it takes here, f takes. Maybe I can just drop the bishop back, but then he takes. What about takes here first, knight takes. I take again, he takes. I take here, he takes here. Wait, does that work? I think that might be okay. So takes, 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 takes. He can take on d6. I take back, he takes here. Need to calculate this thoroughly. Actually, takes, takes, takes. He can take back with the knight. I guess that's okay. It does drag his knight towards the center, where I'm not sure I want it. If I take here first, takes back the f pawn. Yeah, that makes my... Yeah. Let's just go for it. So takes, I'm going to take on c4. So he has to take back the knight, and then I can consider taking on c2. Alternatively, I can just drop back and then castle. So knight takes, takes on c2, queen takes, takes, that's fine. Takes on c2, takes on d6, check. But that would get rid of my backwards pawn. Maybe that's a good inclusion. Takes, takes, queen takes, queen takes. Yeah, I think I probably should play this. Takes, I'll take with the queen, I suppose. Yeah. Takes, queen takes c2. And then, I suppose just castles. He'll bring a rook to the d file. Can I gang up on this? Not really. I could start with b5. But no, let's just castle. Okay. Queen b3 is out of the pen. I guess just b5 here, although... Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I know he can undermine this whole structure, but maybe just queen c5 next. He has a nice square for his knight. I wonder if queen b6 is better here. Queen b6, knight here. He's putting his knight there anyway, which is annoying. So let's do it. At least if he puts his knight here, he can't put his rook there. So optically, these pawns look kind of nasty, but I think concretely they just like control a lot of central territory, and they're hard to attack, hard to target. Right now, my bishop does a decent job of curtailing this knight's influence. Is he doubling on? No, he's coming. He's coming to this this e file. He wants rook c3, I suppose. Okay. I need to find a way to dislodge this knight. It's important. Wonder if I should be offering a queen exchange. I might do that. Just making sure I'm not running afoul of knight b6 here. The idea is maybe to take back with a rook and target e4. This knight is way too powerful here. Okay, that's fine. So I take, and then I can come in on the second. I wonder if I can take here, two takes. No, let's not worry about that. Let's take, and yeah, let's come in on the second. Seems reasonable. Knight here, rook e8 is fine. I can also consider rook d8. That actually looks even better. If here I'm just going to play rook d8. I'm also kind of threatening this. Ooh, well, first of all, I can repeat. So let's start with that just for some time. Oh, wait, hold on. Was that three? That must have been three, but I didn't. Oh, that was already one, two, three. Oh, huh. I wonder if so how do I avoid this repetition? I guess just bring it, no, I can't bring a rook to the C file. Hmm. Mm, yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. I'm not all that disappointed about that result because it would have been hard to play on. Um, and honestly, I'm not even all that sure that this bishop is superior to this knight because this knight has such a strong outpost. I know I have some doubled pawns to work against here, but like I said, they do control a lot of central territory, and he has the open F file to work with. He should never have let my rook come in on the second. Like after I establish rook on the second, I can definitely not be worse here. His rook is kind of misplaced unless he gets a timely a4 in. And meanwhile, if I have time to play rook d8 and get the other rook involved, especially if they can coordinate on the second, then I'm happy. But so before the rook begins, what happened here? Bishop c4 and queen h5. Honestly, I'm not that concerned about it. Bishop h6 was a little bit annoying, so hmm, maybe I wonder if I can get away with playing something like bishop e6 here. Takes. I know I opened the f file, but this pawn on e6 would actually do a pretty decent job of covering my holes, my light square holes, especially that on d5. Yeah, here the knight comes back, knight d4 as opposed to bishop e4 felt fine. Yeah, thing is this bishop on h6 was a little bit annoying. I was able to get rid of it, but then I had to do so at the cost of opening the f file for him with tempo, because he gets to kick the knight. So with all this tension, this bishop, the tension between the two bishops, and the rook peering down the f file, and his attack on the knight, I'm not even sure if it's worth it for the dark square bishop and for the pawn structure damage that I incur, or inflict on him rather. And in this position, I thought this was fine. His knight might be superior to the bishop, I'm not sure. It's probably about equal. He's the first to claim the d file. He gets in on his outpost. I mean, this is going to be a weakness, as is e4. I was pretty happy with queen c4. Knight b6 didn't make that much sense to me because it just allows my rook to come in. Like we exchange queens and I bring the rook in. So I'm not sure why he was so eager to play knight b6. It doesn't make much sense to me. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think he can avoid the queen exchange without hanging the e-pawn. And if he plays it himself, yeah, take with the rook and target e4. I'll turn this off for a second. Hmm. I'll be interested in saying I'm marginally better here. Hmm. Okay, well, let's start from the top. Let's take a quick look. Look at that. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, zeros across the board. 96 against 97% accuracy. Wow. And the graph is very tame as well. Well, so it seems like it was a clean game. There's not an awful lot going on. I mean, I did feel like I should never have been worse. He never put me under any pressure, really. This queen h5 stuff seems a little bit superficial to me. So bishop e7, that there's can't be all that wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Knight f6. Yeah, I just wanted to delay knight f6 for a move and see what he wanted to do with this bishop. This is pretty standard in these Kalashnikov structures, is maybe delaying this knight development before he can pin it up and contest the d5 square, because that's kind of what this opening is about, with the backwards d6 pawn and the weak d5 outpost. That's just the nature of the Sicilian. So bishop e7 felt fine. Queen h5, yeah, this is superficial, just running the queen around for no real reason. It's easy enough to kick that bishop out of h6. The knight comes in with tempo, he has to retreat. Bishop e6, maybe not the best. I can maybe just gain some time on the bishop, even win the light square bishop. There's b5, claiming space. And I can always kick the bishop with knight g5. Yeah, maybe just keep the bishops on the board, the light square bishops. Um, or get rid of it. If I can exchange that light square bishop off for that knight, then this piece is going to be very strong. I can kick this bishop out of h6. Wait, can he get away with this? I would not be concerned about him coming into g7 because the bishop gets caught. And if he has to retreat it, let's say he comes back, then, wait, can I just, if I just castle here, I'm happy. Ah, I don't want to hang the rook, naturally. Okay, so I don't want to hang b5. You gotta be a little bit careful about that, so I'm going to connect my major pieces first. Knight hops in. I'll take that piece off. Queen takes and castles. Yeah. Okay. Oh, actually, I wonder whether I should be taking that piece off when it jumps in. I suppose I should. That's a very powerful minor piece. Certainly more powerful than the bishop presently. So I guess that makes sense. Put the bishop on b7. Take the outposted knight off. Get castled. And play from here. Okay. So bishop e6, not all that happy with that move, but I guess it was fine. Rook c8, putting more pressure here. Just looking at knight c2 tricks. Castles, the knight comes to g4 to kick the bishop. He drops back. We take. I suppose that was best. Yeah, takes on c4, takes on c2. Yeah, and then he gets his pawn back. It's Desperado sack, and then we just get this position where it felt about equal to me. The engine says -0.2, but it felt about equal. And then this whole operation, yeah, maybe I should have come into c2 directly. That's probably a little bit better. Queen c4 kind of forced the queens off, so I thought that felt pretty good. Knight b6 didn't make sense to me. It just lets me bring the rook in. And yeah, so here, if I want to play on, how do I play on? Okay, the engine is saying just bring the rook to c6. And whether or not I insert the check first is more or less immaterial. It just depends whether I want the rook on the first rank or the second, but I don't think it really matters that much. So let's just say I come here, the knight's going to come back to its outpost. And now, well, now I can just come to c4 and target this pawn. And honestly, it looks like I'm just picking that up clean, right? Like, how does he defend c4 pawn? The engine is saying just give it up, and then I'm just up a clean pawn. I should, in that case, yeah, I should definitely play this on. If he doesn't have a convenient way to defend z4 pawn, what if he plays rook b4? Then this hangs. Okay, yeah, he doesn't want to do that. So my position was actually a little bit nicer than I thought, because I'm targeting e4 and targeting it, putting pressure anyway on e3. So these pawns actually were a little bit weaker than I thought. Okay. So that would have been a way to play on. But we got a threefold, which is also, that's okay. All right, so we got an interesting line in the Kalashnikov. Good game to my opponents. And yeah, thanks for watching.